Jim, how's it, man? Talk about your experience first off with bass and how everything went, how it was run. How did you feel everything went on that?
Oh, for the first event, I thought it went great. Couldn't have asked for it to go any better with Steve and Dwayne. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, just kind of talking with them backstage, and they were a part of it all. You know what I mean? They were on top of it, making sure everything was going good, and Bass and them working together. Everybody just did a really great job bringing that together and making this thing real professional. I think they had one little hiccup when everybody was on stage, but I mean nothing major. You know what I mean? But no, it was really cool to see, just to see how everything unfolded and watching you guys out there on Logan Martin and but no, let's talk about it though. Let's talk about your practice and how much time did you actually take for practice, and then did everything go to plan through the tournament?
We didn't get a lot of time in for practice. We went way up the river our first day of practice and probably spent 2 hours. Found a spot that held some fish, but they were good ones. But we didn't figure there were enough in there to get a limit. So we spent the rest of the day pretty much driving around looking for access to the water.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of muddy water from what I've seen of people's pictures, and I know just driving through parts of Alabama, it's a lot of rain that came through. I mean, during the tournament, it was a lot of rain that came through. Was that? I know the baits that you were throwing. You were talking about fishing in some muddy water, but I mean, for one, how in the world did you make that bait work during muddy conditions? You know what I mean? That's always like a clear water bait. And
Yeah, well, when we did go down to the main lake, we were down in Clear Creek, and I couldn't get bit on anything. I couldn't get bit on a little swim bait. I couldn't get bit on a spinner bait, and I noticed that the bait fish were about that size, and it was the only thing I had that matched that size. So I put it on and threw it, and they seemed to like it. They were all small, but that was our second spot that we fished. So it was on Thursday. It was a choice between that place where we knew we could get some small ones, and the other place up on the river. And I'm glad we picked the spot down on the lake, because the guys that went up on the river didn't have it too good.
yeah, yeah, especially with the what is that noise? Oh, I got you. Yeah, I know. Just looking at some of the practice pictures, man, that stuff was like chocolate milk looking on the upper part of the river. I'm like, man, almighty. I mean, you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, that might be a good chatterbait, chatterbait stuff. But I mean, it was like beyond that, really. So, but how did you ended up, like I say, how did you end up finding those fish to be able to make? He's throwing kind of like a spot. Chris, go back to the video, the picture with our baits that we got right there, if you can. He's throwing like just a Arashi spy bait.
Yeah.
We got one right there in the middle there. Chris is getting it transferred over. There we go. But he's got it right there in the middle, and that's what he's throwing. And you say it was muddier conditions, right?
Oh yeah, it was chocolate milk down there too. The only difference was we had current, just not as much as we would have had up in the river. And when we launched, I went right past my spot. I went on down towards the main lake trying to find bait fish, and I went all the way down there and couldn't find anything. So came all the way back up, and when I got to that hole that I'd seen the day before, I just happened to see the the bait fish popping the surface. So put that little spy bait on and threw her out there. And there were times I would get 3 or 4 in a row, 5 in a row, and times where I'd go for an hour and not get a hit. But yeah, that was the only thing that I could get hit on there.
Wow, that's just crazy how that. I don't know what it is, like some bad back feed back there in it, and then it goes away. But sorry about that, guys. But no, like I say, we throw those baits a lot on some of that lake in Clearwater. It's a
Yeah.
great bait for catching those suspending fish and all that. But I mean, so is that what you were mainly looking for? Was this kind of fish flickering the top, or was you using your graph a lot to be able to locate them?
Nah, I mean, it was a foot and a half of water. So the graph showed 1,000 feet all day pretty much.
Oh man.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we knew I knew there was a rock pile there. The rock pile came off the bank and come out into the water. And it provided a nice little cover spot for the bigger fish to sit behind. The little ones are out. They were out there in the rocks all day and pretty much caught those, fairly steady. I said there's some times where I didn't get bit for a while, but uh, I think the big ones just kind of sat back there behind the rocks and had run out and feed and run back in, and yeah, they kind of cycled in and out of there.
Yeah. Now going into after you caught all those fish, the day's over with. Did you kind of what you got on the board, but did you kind of know where you're at? Did you know that you had it wrapped up? Did you know how close it was?
With about 40 minutes left, I knew that at that time that I was about an inch and a half behind John, who was in first place, and I hadn't had a bite again for a while, so I went up the river a little bit and then came back down and told my buddy there. I said, I need 16. I got a 14 and a half. I need to get a 16 to at least get me up to where it was, when they shut the leaderboard off. And went down and sat in that spot, and about 10 minutes till lines out, hooked a 19-incher. So I got the 19 in, and I thought, well, it just got real. I still didn't know, but I knew I had a decent one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's that's the thing about them kayak events, man, is, I know in the big bass boat events, you really don't know either, but it's just like in those kayak events, you can follow along if you want most of the way through the day, and you kind of know where you're at. So when you hang into those couple big fish towards the end, you don't know what nobody else has. You don't know where you're at. You don't know if anybody else is really coiled up or what. So, I mean, was you able to sleep good through the night before, y'all did the way in or what?
No, not at all. I mean, it's the biggest stage, and when you go up there and you're in the top 10, that's really all you know. You're in the top 10.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's the biggest stage we've had so far, and yeah, no, I didn't sleep at all.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I know just from our smaller stuff, when you've caught a good 85 inches plus, just driving back to the boat ramp to check in, you don't know where you're at, but you know you were doing good, and that right there eats at me driving back, because you don't know what no one has. No one's talking about it when they get to the boat ramp, and you're just, as they start calling the numbers off, that's when you start playing in your head, well, man, I know I had this many inches, so but yeah, having to sleep on that through the night, I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine having to sleep on that and go all day through the expo, still thinking about that stuff. So, but let's talk about that. They come out with the new Old Town kayak.
Yeah.
The new electric motor on there. Let's talk about that boat, man. Let's talk about how it helped you out on the water through the event.
I wished I would have had one of those.
Oh, you didn't have one on. You didn't have one on this week. Oh man, I know some of the.
No,
I know Casey and them had it. I didn't know if you had one or not.
No, I just pedal and paddle.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah, I'd get up in that current, and like I said, the water was pretty shallow. I'd get up in there and put the pedal drive down and try and stomp it into the mud to hold me in one place.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, I really did thought you had one, man. I was trying to follow along with everybody that had one, and I was like, man, that's great for Old Town, man. The guy wins, got the new boat, so I'm like, but, well, no, man, that goes to show you right there. You don't need all that stuff either to win a daggone fishing tournament. But that is pretty cool though, that you was able to still be, part of Old Town, and be able to come out and do what you did. So, but kind of after you did the whole way in, there you go backstage. what was it like going back here, media room? You're trying to get all these interviews. I mean, was that kind of overwhelming for you?
Yeah, I mean, even on stage when they announced Mark Edwards for second place, the first thing that crossed my mind was I looked down to make sure my shoes were tied, and then I just kind of nothing nothing else. I didn't hear another thing.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even know how to act, I guess, when they hand you a trophy. You don't have to scream. You don't know if to, you know, that's me. I'm always like, man, I wonder what would happen if I won a trophy like that. Would I just break down and cry? Would I scream or what, I mean, it's just kind of just takes a little while to set in. And then, then you come off stage and now you got Scott wanting to talk to you. You got, we were trying to get an interview with you. You got Bass trying to talk with you. And then they take you back here to the media room and there's all of a sudden that opens a door and there's a lot of people, wanting to do interviews. I mean, it was you kind of nerve wracked then? You didn't even know what to say, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably spent 2 or 3 hours down there just doing the interviews and yeah, it's trying to think back through everything with cameras in your face and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a different thing. I hadn't been through that before, so.
Let's talk a little bit about, so Bassmaster just kicked it off. You went down to Lake Fork, right?
Yeah.
And just fished that event. I mean, was that run just as good? I mean, I know Bass has got their name on it. The events are going to be run good. You got some good guys that are helping run these events. How was that event run? Was it still, did you feel like it was well put together?
Yeah, for what those guys had to deal with down there, everybody's on edge and with this virus thing. Yeah, so it wasn't as big an event as the other ones are going to be, or that this one should have been. But no, it went well. It went smooth.
Yeah. Now, are you planning to fish the rest of the bass events this year, or is it just a couple you picked out?
No, right now I'm planning on going to all of them.
I got you. No,
Yeah.
that's good, man. I like to see these guys that are going to travel and fish this whole thing, because I like to see this become the pro level. You know what I mean? The pro series of the kayaking side. I know KBF's trying to do it. Hobie's got a good series going. Everybody's got their own thing, and it's taken off. And it's, you got so many events out there now, really, that you guys can do this as a professional level. If you got the funding and all that. But you got to fish so many of them, and you got to travel around. It's a lot of traveling time with it. But do you see next year like this being? I mean, this year is going to kick off good. It's the kickstart of, or to see how things are going to go. But do you see next year like this being a full blown pro tour kind of deal?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've fished some of the Hobie events, and I've fished KBF for 3 years, and I fished the KBS series when it was around 5-6 years ago. And this one has all the signs of being a really good series, a really good events, and just an all around fun series to fish.
Yeah. Now, with you winning an event, do you feel like, I mean, has anything changed like sponsorship wise? Has anybody come to you wanting you to come on to their company, or any other your sponsors wanting to reach out and help you a little bit more with this? I mean, has anything changed for you since you've won that?
I've talked and am talking to a couple of companies. I like to use certain things,
Yeah.
and I'm probably not going to change what I use just to pick up a sponsor. I'd rather just use the things that I use and that I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am talking to a couple different ones right now.
And I like what you said right there, because that's something we've talked about in a lot of shows, especially when people even come to us asking. People come to us even before we got into the kayaking, motor mounts, and all that we was making, wanting to be on a pro staff. And I mean, I'm like, what are you going to be on a pro staff for? We don't even have nothing to offer you at the moment. So, but people try to get on these pro staffs on stuff that they don't even throw. And that's what we always try to tell people. get on a pro staff and work your way up through the pro staff side of things on a company that you have confidence in when it comes to rods and reels and tackle and all, because you don't want to promote nothing that you don't throw or have confidence in, because you're going to look like a dummy talking about it.
That's exactly right.
And it's really hard to sound professional and build a relationship with a company when you don't even throw what they're, or use what you're supposed to be promoting, So, like I say, that's good to hear that you're not just kind of just chasing the money, because just to get the money, you're chasing something that you want to use, and a product you believe in.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a few things that I use all the time, and I wish one of those guys would call me, because I spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
It costs me a lot of money to use his stuff. I wish he'd call me, but yeah, no, I don't have any rod and reel sponsors. I don't have any of that stuff. I've got before this tournament, I basically had Frontier Outdoors in Kingston, where I bought my kayak and fished with those guys and basically on their fishing team. But other than that, I do it on my own.
Well, that's awesome, man. Let's talk a little bit about, are you just fishing full time now? Do you have anything else you do career wise outside of work, with traveling and work and all that, or are you just solely just fishing?
No, I actually retired a couple years ago, and I've got other things, other interests that I pursue and that I spend time on. But yeah, I didn't fish a whole lot last year because of those things, and this year I decided to fish a little bit more and get back into it a little bit, and that's why I started with the Bass Series.
Yeah, and that's something I've been waiting to see pop up around here. I've been talking to some of our Federation guys, and because I like what Bass is doing. We used to fish a Federation years ago in the bass boat side of things, and how their qualifying is to get into it. And like I say, the Bassmaster Classic is the championship. You know what I mean? These guys fish the Federation National event, and then they go from there into the Classic. And but it's really hard to get to the Classic through the Federation. So, but I think if they can stay and get into that whole thing and have these little clubs that are satellite clubs that are built, and you got a qualifying process to get to the Classic, you're going to have the best in the industry, the best in the fishing kayak series. You know what I mean? When you get to that national championship in bass.
Yeah. I agree. I think they need to keep the qualifying the way it is, make it actually you have to qualify to fish the events, and I think that'll just make it a lot better.
Yeah. Because and like I say, I'm not knocking the national championship. I think it's really fun for a lot of people. We had a good time. We went, and Chad Hoover and them are doing a good thing with that. But I just don't like it being, I don't know, for me, this is me, and I'll probably get, people will probably get me big time for it. I'm not knocking the KBF guys. I'm just saying, to me, that doesn't feel like a national championship, because you have some guys will fish one event and qualify and don't fish nothing the rest of the year. You know what I mean? It's not a super hard qualifying series to make it, shall I say. But there's some really great guys that fish it. Now they do have their actual championship too for the guys that fish the open, their tour event, or however you call it on the KBF side, their pro series and all that. But I think Bassmasters, the way they're doing it and they're qualified, you're going to get the cream of the crop when it comes to the national championship for their Classic. You know what I mean? When it comes down to the Bassmaster Classic in 2021.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of good guys there.
Yeah, and like I say, before people start bashing me, there's a lot of good people that fish the KBF National Championship. I'm just saying, I just like it to where it's like 100 to or 50 of the top guys. You know what I mean? That are going not 700. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But no, man, man, it's like a bad fit. I'm sorry, guys, for that. But anyways, I just want to thank you for taking the time, man, for calling in. We're getting like a bad echo here all of a sudden, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, Jim, I really appreciate to rush you off, man. I don't know, it's like a bad echo all of a sudden, real bad. I don't know what's going on, but no, I do appreciate you taking the time to calling in and talking to us tonight, talking about your win, and I really hope everything goes great for you this year, and I hope that you pick up some more sponsors to kind of to help you out and push you further along, and take away some of them burdens of traveling and fishing these things, because it gets expensive.
Yeah. I just want to, before I get off here, I just want to congratulate Cody on his win yesterday, and Kurt on his win today. Congratulations, guys.
Yes, big time. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, because we were at the beginning of the show, somebody to tell me who won the Open Series on the Hobie Series, as I didn't have time to even look into it. We was trying to get everything set up. So, and then we got Cody on at the last minute, about 4 minutes before we was going to go live here. So we're just trying to work time in now, trying to get both of you guys on to talk about your events and all that. So, but man, like I say, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on, and thank you for all you do with the sport. And I think you're going to be a good representative for, being the first winner of the BASS Kayak Nation, or BASS Nation Kayak Series. So congratulations to you, man, and thank you.
I appreciate it.
You have a good one, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye. All right, guys. Sorry I had to cut that interview quick. I don't know what in the world was going on with like a bad feedback to it or something. I don't know what was going on there, but